Episode 138. Meet AIJ, my AI assistant.
The primitive forms of artificial intelligence we already have proved very useful.
AI is a golden opportunity.
How do we ensure that this technology is regulated?
The long arc of technological history is now in an extraordinary new phase.
The AI6 podcast with Joanne Sweeney.
Deploying my own AI agent, let me tell you how I trained it on a decade of my own work. Hello and welcome back to the AI6 podcast. I'm Joanne Sweeney, and in this week's long listen, I'm taking you behind the scenes of how I've created my own AI assistant, aptly named AIJ. I use Botpress to deploy my own AI assistant, but in fact, she can go further and she is becoming an AI agent. I have trained her in over a decade of my work in marketing, communications, public relations, broadcast journalist, stakeholder engagement, podcasting, speech writing, stage speaker, and obviously as a trainer. If you've ever wished you could clone yourself to answer client questions, onboard new team members, or share trusted knowledge without constantly being on the clock, this episode is for you. But of course, I know there are some doubters and some nervous AI adopters tuning in also, and that's absolutely okay. But as an AI first mover, I want to do all this testing and trialing for you and share my experience along the way. And in training my agent and assistant and all of my knowledge, I do get questions in the classrooms saying, Joanne, are you not worried about people stealing your knowledge? My knowledge is all over the internet. I think the models have already been trained in it. I am on my third podcast. I started podcasting a decade ago. My first podcast was JFB Talks Digital. I believe I reached over 150 episodes. They're on YouTube and the podcast platforms. Then my second podcast was Public Sector Marketing Show, again on YouTube and on all the podcast platforms. Again, I think I was up on 200 episodes. And this is my third podcast, AI6. And because it's a daily podcast and I only started it on February 3rd, 2025, I'm now up at episode 138. I've also published 3 books. My 4th book will be out in September. I have been hosting webinars for years, free webinars. They're on my website. I also have a social media footprint. I've been on many radio shows. I have a segment on a Thursday morning on Dublin City FM called The Digital Download. Those episodes are archived in SoundCloud. And I've also used all of my training materials to train the model. So apart from everything that's freely available on the internet, I've also given it my IP'd work that is internal on our servers. And so the goal here with AIJ is to, first of all, for me to train myself in how to create an AI assistant, an AI agent, and deploy it within my business because I have full control and autonomy to do it. As a teacher, I always believe that I should be a practitioner before I delve into teaching somebody else. And if you know anything about knowledge and knowledge transfer, when you are a teacher and when you can explain a concept, a framework, or do a tutorial demo, I believe you have the ultimate knowledge, and when others can actually take that knowledge and understand for themselves. So I'm on a mission not only to teach you through this podcast, but also to share my own practice with you and my learnings. And so why did I do it? Well, ultimately, I've got this huge body of work. Much of it is searchable, but much of it isn't. And I need to scale and transform how I do business and how I offer value in the AI age. And really from 2 years ago, I began to understand that what I was doing then, I would not be doing in the short term. And in the short term, I mean like 2, 3, 4 years. My business would transform and AI would disrupt everything that I knew. And so I knew that I had to move. And one thing kept sticking in my mind. And when I was part of Google's Digital Academy and training their biggest clients all over the world, we had this one task. We were teaching them about apps and about, mobile first websites and best practice digital marketing through the gospel of Google. And we had this one task whereby we would ask the teams from the various companies and marketing agencies that if they were starting their business right now, today, and they rethought everything in an app first world, what would they build? And oh my goodness, there was such discovery and uncovering amazing ideas in those tasks. And for some reason, every time I think about AI, I ask myself a variation of that question. Joanne, what does your AI first business look like? You're starting from scratch, you're starting again. There are no rules, everything is different. And that's why I am putting my knowledge into AI agents, because I can scale my knowledge and it can add value very quickly to a lot of people that trust my knowledge and that trust my practice and that trust my teaching. I can provide oversight, but they as my community can test it and give me feedback. And that will free up time for me to do other things. And, write my books, create these podcasts. But I think at a higher level in terms of really looking at how the world and how governments, public sector and public policy is going to reorientate itself and recreate new economies of scale in the AI age, and also how they're going to bring their people, their most powerful asset with them. And so when I head to the Harvard Kennedy School of Public Policy, actually, while you're listening to this, I will be boarding a flight to Boston because I start the program tomorrow, and it's artificial intelligence in public policy. And I really think that's where I will be. I don't know, I'm not there yet, but these are the doors that will open, the conversations that I will be having, the tables that I will be around, and the stages that I will be gracing, and the future podcasts that I will be recording, and the future books that I will be writing. Because I have a huge public interest, as you know, from my work with Public Sector Marketing Institute, and all my work is on Public Sector Marketing Pros. And so it's quite interesting that I release this podcast episode as I start that short but new journey in education. And I'm using Botpress. So it's a complete AI agent platform, and it's not just a chatbot builder, but I'm building it in segments, and I'm building its capability in parts. And at each stage, I'm getting my wonderful public sector marketing community to test it for me. So Botpress gives you everything that you need to build, deploy, and manage intelligent conversational agents. And it brings together the large language models with an intuitive visual interface, because that's what we expect. And I would say that OpenAI, ChatGPT, has created that expectation. So if any of us are following an innovation, we have to do that too. So there's a few features that really kind of attracted me to it. It's got a visual flow builder. So it's a drag and drop tool that you can design conversations very easily. And of course, we don't need code. It uses nodes and cards to map out the logic. And of course, it's perfect for somebody like me who thinks in frameworks. And I'm also a visual learner and a visual creator. It's got an inbuilt knowledge agent, and this is a game changer. So this is allowing me to upload all of my knowledge from my websites, PDFs, training materials, transcripts, video, audio, books, all of that's been created over a decade's work, and it can train the agent on it. And then I get to personalize my agent, so defining tone of voice, plain English, giving content that's accessible from different levels of knowledge, but also from abilities as well. I want people to feel confident in it. I want it to be very practical, just as if I was in a room with you or having a Zoom call with you. And so I want it to be as much like me as possible and not like a GPT. It's also got autonomous nodes. So these allow the agent to break down complex queries and reason through them. So it's not just regurgitating flat kind of 1D information, but it brings it almost into that 3D feeling of thinking and conversing with logic, just like a human. And then I can deploy it multi-channel. So when the agent was first ready, I could publish it to my site. It's hidden, of course, until I road test it and get some feedback. But then the ambition is to scale it to WhatsApp, Messenger and Slack within the communities who are working with me. And so let's think about the steps on how to build an AI agent. So first of all, it's knowledge collecting, pulling together all of my IP, build that decades plus worth of content, from podcasts to slide decks, to webinars, to video trainings, all the internal information, all belonging to me. It's not proprietary or confidential to anyone else. That is not used. And then I upload it and I train the Botpress agent, and I can create a demo website. I've already given my own feedback, but now I need a pool of people. Tone of voice is very important, and that will take time to refine and to perfect. It's never going to be fully human-like or like me. Of course, it's not initially. Listen, this took 47 years to build. An agent isn't going to get me in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but refinement is absolutely key in anything that we're doing with AI, because I want it to be responsive. I want it to be straight talking like Joanne. I want it to be grounded like Joanne. I want no jargon. I want it to teach and to show up and to engage and to converse just like I would. And of course, most of all, to be generous with my knowledge. And then you've got smart sequencing. So creating the logic so that the agent can break down complex questions into steps. So for example, if somebody asks, how do I start using AI in my comms team? The agent now clarifies the role, suggests a starting point, and points to real life use cases from those that I have. And then I have a summary agent and hand it over. So it makes the knowledge from me integrate with the agent and wrap it all up in a conversation, and then sends key points when somebody needs a real-time follow-up. So it's now live. I do have a test site. I've been testing it myself in my trainings with my clients, but now I'm offering it out to a small group of public sector pros who want to be part of my testing focus group. So what can it do? What can AIJ do right now? It can answer questions about AI in marketing and comms in a public sector context. It can guide users through their prompts, and it will ask questions back, and it will point to relevant resources from my podcast, my trainings and blogs, so my community can self-serve and can use the agent while they're working as if they were having a live session with me. The concepts are explained in plain English, just like what you would expect from a GPT, and it acts as a micro consultant. Hopefully it will never replace me, but it really is added value for my clients who are in my community. And this isn't a novelty, it's a real life working tool that's in test mode. And what I've learned so far is the content matters more than the tech. The tech is there, it's open source, it's available. But the better structured and labelled my content was, the easier and smarter the agent was becoming. And test everything over and over again, because that's really important. And it's not a shortcut, but it's definitely a serious amplifier for me and also for the clients that work with me. And it also integrates into all of the main LLMs. And it hopefully will be powerful. I'm at the early stages, but I'll let you know how I'm getting on as I develop it. But now I'm looking for you. I'm looking for testers. So a small focus group of public sector marketing and communications and media professionals and even leaders to test the agent in real world settings. So if you work in local government, national government, public health, higher ed, tourism, a research agency, any sort of state agency, the EU institutions, I would love to hear from you. You'll get exclusive access. I will give you a short onboarding, and you will get access for about 2 weeks, because I want you to work in it in real time and to give me feedback. I will have a feedback form, so you don't have to kind of wonder, well, what feedback does Joanne need? I will give you specific questions and then open questions also. And then I'll bring all of those back retrain the model, improve it, and release a second version to the focus group, and then hopefully to my wider community. So that's it for today. AIJ is on the way. If you want to road test her, send me an email to info@publicsectormarketingpros.com and I will let you in. This is the AI6 podcast. I'm Joanne Sweeney. I will talk to you on the next episode.